All right, our last video in 10.4, we're talking all about area. We've talked about the area of a rectangle, a square, a parallelogram, a triangle, and a trapezoid. Now let's talk about circles. So in this video, we're going to do 3 examples that deal with circles. We're going to talk about the area of a circle and also circumference of a circle. So a circle is a set of points on a plane that are equal distance from a given point, or the center. The radius is a line segment from the center to any point on that circle. And so if I go from the center to the side of the circle, those are all radii, and all those radii are the same exact length. Now the diameter is a line segment that goes through the center of the circle and touches both sides of the circle. And so if the radius goes from the center to the side and the diameter goes all the way through, well then that means the diameter is twice the size of the radius. So if I said the radius was 5, then your diameter would be 10. Or if I said that diameter was 20, well then your radius is half of that, 10. So if I give you the radius, you should be able to tell me what the diameter is. Or if I give you the diameter, you should also be able to tell me what the radius is. All right, if I have a circle, then I can find the circumference, meaning all around the circle, same as perimeter, by doing pi times the diameter. You know pi is 3.14 la 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 la, right? Or because the radius is half of the diameter, you can do the circumference as 2 times pi times r. Either way would give you the same answer anytime you're asking for circumference. Now the area of a circle, if you're trying to find the stuff on the inside, would be pi r squared. So we have circumference and then we have area. Make sure you find those formulas on your formula sheet so you can use those in case they ask you about circles. Let's do a few examples. Example number 6 says find the circumference of a circle whose diameter is 40 yards. That's what that says. So circumference, remember, is around the outside of this circle. We know that there is a formula for circumference, which is pi times the diameter, or you could do 2 pi r. Remember, either way, you should get the same answer. Now, they give us that diameter is 40 yards, so I can plug that in. So I have pi times 40 yards. If they ask you for exact values, then I would say pi times 40 yards, or 40 pi yards. Now that doesn't make much sense. I mean, if you went to Home Depot and you said you needed 40 pi yards of fencing, they'd be like, huh? How much is that? And so if they ask you for an actual amount that's rounded to a certain number of decimal places, then you're going to use your calculator and you're going to do 40 times pi. Now you should have a pi button in your calculator. That's going to give you the best answer, the most accurate answer, because then you're not rounding and using 3.14. But just make sure that you're following the directions in my math lab to see what they want. So I'm going to do 40 times pi, and I ended up getting 125.66 yards would be my circumference around that circle. If you use the other formula, then you would do 2 times pi times r. Now if the diameter was 40, what's the radius? Well, it should be half of that, right? So 20. So I can plug in 20, and I can do 2 times pi times 20, which is 40 pi, which is, remember, the same thing that I got before, right? So it doesn't matter which formula you use, you should get the same answer either way. Just sometimes they give you diameter and it might be easier to just plug that in, or sometimes they give you the radius and you might want to use that formula instead. All right, look at example number 7. It says how much trim to the nearest tenth of a foot is needed to go around the window shown in the figure. So that means I want to take trim and I want to go around here, around the bottom, around the side, and then woo, around the top. So really, I'm not looking to fill in the window. I'm not looking for area. I'm really looking for circumference or perimeter, right? But this is kind of a composite shape. It isn't in a couple different shapes kind of combined. I'm seeing a rectangle and kind of a half of a circle, a semicircle, don't you think? And so if I want to look to figure out how much trim I need to go down this side of the window, I need to go down the bottom of the window, I need to go down this side or up this side of the window, which is 8 feet plus the 6 feet plus the 8 feet, but then I got to go around this half of a circle. And so I'm going to start circumference. So circumference is pi times diameter, right? But we've got to then figure out what the diameter is of this circle. And so if I imagine that this being a whole circle here, okay, don't laugh at my drawing, and the diameter being the same as the bottom of my window, it looks like the diameter here is 6 feet, right? So I should be able to find the circumference of the circle by doing pi times 6 feet. But remember, it's not a whole circle. I only want the top half of the circle, so don't I actually have to divide that in two? So this is what I have. I've got the 8 feet, that's the left side. I have the 6 feet, that's the bottom. I have the 8 feet, that's the right side. But then I also have to have that half of a circle, which is the circumference, 6 times pi, divided by 2, because I don't want the whole entire circle, I just want the top half. So that gives me 22 feet plus 3 pi feet, if they wanted an exact answer. Now you could not add the 22 and the 3 and say 25 because they're not like terms. You've got to be careful with that. Remember, Aunt Sally says you've got to multiply before you add, so you wouldn't be able to combine that and say 25 pi, so be careful. If they ask you for exact, that would just be your final answer. It's kind of like having an X right there. If they asked you for an answer, which they did in this one, rounded to the nearest tenth, I'm going to go ahead and put that in my calculator, 3 times pi plus 22, and I'm going to round to the nearest tenth place. That's 1 decimal place. I got 31.4 feet. I would need 31.4 feet of trim to go around that window. Okay? All right, let's do one more here in this section, example number 8. Okay, this is a good one. I've actually used this before. Kind of a math dork, but have you ever been at dinner at a pizza place and they have different specials? They've got larges versus extra larges or versus mediums, and they're all different sizes but also different prices, and you ever wonder which one's a better deal because you can't really compare them? Well, that's what we're going to do in this example. It says here, which one is a better buy? You can get a large pizza with a 16-inch diameter, so a 16-inch pizza for $15, or you can get a medium pizza, that's an 8-inch pizza, for $7.50. Okay, we got to compare. Do we want a large for $15 or do we want a medium for $7.50? So I don't know about you, I like to kind of visualize again. So I'm going to draw a picture. I've got a large pizza, has a 16-inch diameter, and I want to know which one's a better deal. So I don't just eat the crust of my pizza, even though that's oftentimes the best part. So I'm not really looking for circumference. I'm really looking for area, the stuff on the inside of this pizza. I want to know how much pizza I actually get for 15 bucks. Or I can buy a medium pizza. Actually, what if I buy 2 medium pizzas? Because if I buy 2 medium pizzas for $7.50 each, isn't that $15? So then I can kind of compare them because their price would be the same. I could figure out how much pizza I would get if I was ordering 2 mediums for $15 versus 1 large for $15. They're the same price, but which one is going to give me more pizza, right? So I have 2 mediums. They're both 8 inches. What I can do is figure out the area of this big pizza for $15 or the area of these 2 medium pizzas for $15 and see which one's going to give me more pizza, right? All right, so I want to do area. So we know area of a circle is pi r squared. On the big pizza, the large pizza, remember the diameter is 16, which means the radius is 8. So I want to do pi times 8 squared. Well, 8 squared is 64, and so the area of this large pizza is 64 pi, or if you put it in your calculator, 201 square inches of yummy goodness, right? All right, what happens though if instead of buying 1 large pizza, I buy 2 medium pizzas? It's the same price, 15 bucks for both. Which one's going to give me more pizza? Well, let's look. I'm doing area again. I have a radius now on this one. If the diameter is 8 inches, then the radius is actually 4. And so I have 4 squared, which is 16 pi. Now that's just for 1 pizza though. Don't I want to buy 2 medium pizzas for the same price as that 1 large? So I've got to take that 16 pi. I've got to multiply it by 2. You can see that the area is 32 pi, or if I put it in my calculator, 100.5 square inches. So which one is going to give us more pizza for the same price, right? 15 bucks each? Almost double the amount of pizza if you buy the large pizza. So I would do the large for 15 instead of 2 mediums for $7.50. Good job. All right. So next time you can impress your friends by saving them some money on their pizza or giving them more pizza for their money, I guess, huh? All right, make sure you know all the different area formulas, all the different circumference formulas, and you can apply those to all different types of problems. That was 10-4. Let me know if you need anything as you're working on your homework. Hang in there.